You are now listening to Nexxlegacy Radio, a radio station for the people.
They tend to tell me that March is usually National Women's Month, but I feel like it's like that like every single month we have, every single day, every single second, every single fiber of our being is women's, let's just say it's women's seconds. What's happening, people? Your man Branded is here on Nexxlegacy Radio. Glad everybody is logged in, not just tuned in for the guests that we have. Like, curiosity is intriguing for a lot of people out there, listeners who's just now tuning in for the very first time, celebrating our road to almost 9 years of broadcasting. So I appreciate all you people out there listening in the United States, and so much love we get from Japan. 92.3 The Beat in Japan, as well as always in Germany and different parts. It's a beautiful, beautiful time to be able to not just do radio but promote. And I'm encouraging people to pick up and read books, doing all sorts of things, but also the beautiful guest that I have, she actually has a book that I had a chance to read, and I'm very curious. I don't want to tell a lot of people too much as far as what's going on, and I'm not expecting our beautiful guest, Vanessa, to do the same, but we will leave you with enough clues to pique your curiosity, to make sure that you go to vanessaworks.com to be able to make that purchase and get more details. And she is also not just brought to you by vanessaworks.com. You can also follow her on Twitter at vanessaworks, WERTS, and you can also hit her up on Facebook. The beautiful, talented author extraordinaire, Vanessa Works, is my guest, Nexxlegacy Radio. What's up, dear?
Hello. What an awesome introduction.
How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm glad you're here, not just to talk to me personally, but also to talk to the curious listeners and people that's not just been following you, but people who's actually interested in wanting to know what you have as far as, the book you currently have. And we're going to get into that for a second, but I kind of want to get people to get to know Vanessa a little bit. So you've been an author. I mean, on your bio has military veteran, but back to the books, though. What motivated you to actually just start putting a pen to a piece of paper and start collaborating on trying to get books published?
Well, I think it really started probably back in about 2006. I used to read a lot, first of all, let me say that. Just being an avid reader over the years, specifically like contemporary fiction and romance novels. And I always wanted to write an alternative ending to all the stories I read. And so I just, decided one day I was going to try and write a story. So I took a writing course, and I tried it out. And I published my first book in 2009. And with that topic of relationships and dating, I just love the human behavior behind all of that. So that was my motivator for it, but just the love of reading and wanting to tell a story of my own.
And for you to be able to have the not just passion to tell a story, because I think we can all tell a story, but there's very few, and I know there's a crowded room of authors and people trying to be able to get books published and put it out and book signings and all that good stuff, but it takes a drive to be able to complete a project, right?
I would agree. It's a lot of work that goes into it. I myself have met a lot of authors writers, who have manuscripts that they've been sitting on for years or who want to start writing and they just don't get to it. It takes a lot of commitment and tenacity. You have to do something every day. You can't put it down, You have to keep working towards the goal. And I would also say you can't wait for a major publishing house to pick you up. I started my own publishing company just to publish my own book and not wait for an agent to find an interest, to take interest in me, and so I could publish my own books, and that's what I've been up to.
And with this particular book that is available, and that people can go to, you can go to Amazon. You can search Vanessa Wirtz. You should be able to pick it up. You can also get more information by going to VanessaWirtz.com. WERTS is the last name. And tell me a little bit about, and like I said, I've read, and to me, as powerful as and eloquently as you put a lot of the storytelling, to me, it's a reflection of just how society works too. So the new novel Lies, Even Love Has Its Casualties. Give the listeners a little brief synopsis about the book.
Okay, so the book is set in the Washington, D.C. area, and it follows a 30-year-old publicist. She owns her own PR firm, and she deals with men on her own terms, choosing to have her needs met rather than having a committed relationship. And the reason that she deals like this is because of past hurt. And so she signs on an NFL client, and their business relationship turns personal. They wind up in a passionate love affair. But the problem with this is that he has a fiancé, and things get way out of hand. And it really is a story of what happens when hurt goes unchecked and people become selfish in relationships.
The question I have, and not diving into it, because I definitely encourage people to go get the book. It's like, don't do it now, do it right now. And it's to the point where I feel like when it comes to especially relationships, and I think men and women make it as so complicated than it really need to be. And, there's obstacles that's self-inflicted and ego tripping and, everything that kind of comes along with it. And you mentioned selfish. So, like certain characters as far as the portrayal that you have in your book, I mean, do you find a thin line to, just in life in general when it comes to certain aspects about the selfish part of who we are as human beings, or is it just a natural reflex where just people tend to be like that?
You know what? I think it is natural, and you have to learn not to be that way, because I think we want things our way. And I think if you just even look at the life of a child, if you have children or any small kids, mine is something one of the first words they learn, right? They hold on to something. They don't want you to take it from it. Everything is theirs. So I think it's a natural instinct, but I think maturity pushes you out of that. And not everybody gets an opportunity. Well, not everybody matures in that way. And I think in relationships, people just want their own way because everybody thinks they're right or wants to be right. And it really doesn't serve a relationship well at all, because everybody, I think being right is not the answer. It's not about being right. Do you want to be right, or do you want to have a relationship? And
right.
And love is more about the other person, right? So you're not thinking of yourself only. You're thinking about that other person also. And I think we tend to get that wrong in relationships. It's all about what can this person do for me, and what can I get from them, because they bring these things to the table. So how can I use that for my own gain?
Has that always been the case? Because when you look at it into a perspective the way you have, and I look back at just the way that marriages kind of seem to be, and I'm just, perspective-wise, looking at it back in the day, 30s, 40s, 50s, or whatnot, like, the husband went out and worked. The routine was what it was. No matter, what time it was always that routine, and it stayed that way. In my opinion, you look at that, not saying that was a great time for it or whatever. I feel like now there's so many different aspects of, you have the career woman, you have the woman the stay at home at some point in time, housewife as well. But you also have to cater, and to me as a man, you kind of have to cater to a lot of different avenues as far as what a woman wants for the most part.
This is interesting. Now, I think from a woman's perspective, maybe a single woman, what I found personally is that although I'm all those things you said, like I'm a single mom now, I have been married, I'm divorced, single mom now and dating as a single woman, I find that even in my marriage, we both worked, but there were still expectations of me as a wife for the meals. And I know that doesn't work like that in all relationships, especially not in this time that we're in. But there was an expectation in my marriage, in dating, especially when I've had relationships. There was an expectation of what a woman should do. So I don't know if that ever really goes away. I would hope so, because, if we both go out to work, if you get home before I do I still cook every night? Do I still,
no.
Whatever, So, I don't know how much people change with that. I think it's selfish not to make adjustments based on your relationship and each person's role. And if both people are going out to work, then we have to make it work for us. Like, what does that look like for us? Not what everybody else is doing, but how can we make this work for us?
I think, and I look at this and put a lot of stuff into perspective, and a lot of people, and I think you've had a lot of push and pull in your book when it comes to, should I, shouldn't I? Do I have to? I think I should. Certain different layers of how the book is laid out. Like, people have a ton of choices in life and how they choose to live it. I've always looked at diving into, and I've never been perfect at that, and I'm just trying to make sure that as I make mistakes, I grow. But to me, I always look at, and I didn't learn this until recently, and I've lived a little bit, but, if you are trying to be into something with somebody else, your goal is to make sure that that person is taken care of on every level you can think of, not just mentally, physically, spiritually, etc., but even after you're not on this earth anymore. And I think a lot of people everybody look at what's in front of them right now, but they don't look beyond that. And sometimes that kind of gets twisted in a lot of ways, because to me, I always feel like if you're courting to be with somebody and marrying somebody, you have to look at, what do I need to do to not just take care of you, but also to take care of you when I'm not here?
And see, I think that is absolutely the point. That's the maturity piece. But what I found in my own experiences and girlfriends, because this story, there's quite a few things in the book that actually are taken from real life. I mean, like, I did a lot of embellishment to make the story come together, but a lot of the scenes are things that actually happened in my life. But what I found is that it's just one of those things where you really have to know what you want, and you have to grow to that place of maturity where you do care about the other person. But I've had some selfish experiences where it really was all about the other person, and I felt like all my time was consumed with trying to not cater to, but make sure that he was okay. Demanding of time when we have other things going on in life. You have work, you have your family, and you want to date. You want to be able to go out on dates, but you have to manage all of that. Then I'm writing and other things that I have going on, and I just found like it's just too much for me. Dating is just way too much because of the requirement, man. I feel like I can't breathe, and not because the person is smothering, but I just can't keep up. It's just too much going on, but it's not looking out for each other. And that's where we have to get to that place of maturity.
And I was going to ask you that, too, because, you kind of answered that question as far as taking pieces of real-life situations into the book. But also, you just kind of, told us a little bit, just about yourself and how you juggle certain things. And I think anytime that you juggle a career and you have children and you have, life situations, family and all, like, there's a lot of communication that need to take place and a lot of compromise, too. So, I mean, again, I go back to, what I feel like the world is right now. It's a rush. Sometimes you have to stop, slow down, and really just let life sink in with that person you're trying to communicate with, right?
Right. I totally agree. Well, I haven't gotten to, so in the story, the character Lance. So I have not gotten to that point, and I don't have girlfriends who've gotten to that point. I have maybe a couple of married girlfriends. Everyone else is single. So, Lance is what the goal is. Lance is the goal, or a situation like Lance. So, I'm hoping to get to that, and I think that's what I want to do, is encourage women to even just heal from all the old stuff. Don't carry that baggage around with you anymore. Let it all go. Mm-hmm. Be comfortable in who you are. Love yourself, and know if you love and you stay open to it, it'll come. It'll come, but it requires maturity, and that is probably the biggest thing. And I know I've said that like 5 times, but it's probably the biggest thing that I find lacking. It's just that maturity to know that you do need to communicate, and you do need to consider each other, and you need to talk it through, work it out. And in the story, that doesn't happen.
and it's kind of like, it's nice that we vibing, because I was going to literally say the same thing. And people should definitely go pick up the book. And I need you, guys and girls, to get to know this young lady. Go to VanessaWorks.com. Make sure you go ahead and, just get to know her, and go to Amazon. Go to, different spots where you can be able to look for it. I encourage everybody to go find a way to be able to get this book. Lies Even Love Have Its Casualties. You can follow this young lady on Twitter at Vanessa Works, as well as Facebook.com/Vanessa Works. And before I put one of my co-hosts, Mr. Young Army, in, because I know he's a writer himself, and I know he has questions, I got to ask you this question. I took a look at your bio, so I'm radio guy, so I got to do some homework on my guests, right? So. Right. I took a look at your bio, and I love, to me, it's always a good look to see, strong women doing strong things, not just for women, but also, I try to be a student too, because I feel like I need to learn from a lot of good women like yourself. And I was going through it, and as I went through your bio, and you had that one question: do all men lie? And my question to you is, how did you kind of come up with that question? Is that something that's just always been on your mind to be able to ask men that, or just recently?
Well, so I would say a lot of women would probably agree with me on this. And I would love to think that that's not a true question. And I know it's not, because further down in my bio, you'll see the revelation that I have on that now. But it seems like every time I met a guy, anytime a guy approached me with interest, we women, we have to have these line of questions, right? And you guys may not like it, but it's imperative that we ask these questions. The first question is, are you married? If they say no, the next question is, do you live with anybody? If they say no, the next question is, are you in a relationship? And you can ask all 3 of those, and they'll still get you on a technicality. 3 months later, it's like you find out you're actually really separated, but going through a divorce. But I'm like, see, that kind of stuff. Those lies they happen so frequently, you would not believe it. It's like every other guy is caught up in that whole, you can't look at the ring finger because people don't wear their rings all the time. You can't look for the mark or anything. So you ask the questions, and you still get caught up. You find the truth out down the line, and it's just I couldn't understand that. I still don't understand that. However, it doesn't really matter.
And Vanessa, you are so right when it comes to me. I think those are like severe core questions that I feel like every woman and man should ask for the most part, because, from a male, I kind of tend to, when I shake your hand, or I might glance at the finger and see if there's ring residue, meaning there was a ring that was there at one point in time. But no, I think that question is intriguing, because I think a lot of us, for the most part, tend to, not when it comes to that. I think anytime that you're up front with a woman, I think you need to be that way, especially if you're married, living with somebody, or whatever the case may be. To me, I think let that woman choose to make her decision based off what you give her. But I think, when it comes to, like, certain little things, I think there's layers to lies as well. Like, how was your day? Oh, my day was great, even though you had the worst day ever. That's a lie as well. Or, the stuff you tell your kids too, like, hey, you know what, we're not going to get that today because, we're saving our money, even though you don't have money. Or, certain little layers to it I kind of find intriguing. But, one of the things I wanted to bring up, and I feel like as you being a woman too, like when it comes to support and things like that, I think, from a male's perspective, I feel like, a good woman is going to be able to scope out, like, what man is really genuine and what man is full of it, right?
You know what? I do consider myself a good woman, but I've been fooled a couple of times, and I don't take pride in admitting that. But it's like a friend of mine said, women, we do. You're right about, he said, Vanessa, women see the red flag waving, but they said, that's burnt orange. That's not red. It's not really red. So I think we may see the red, the sign is there. It's like, he said this, but my intuition is telling me something totally different. So, yes,
right.
I would say, yes, we get that. But if I asked you and you told me something different, I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt, or I'm trying to not be negative. Am I really taking an experience with someone else and putting that on you? You're a different guy, so I'm not going to think like that. So it's just convoluted. There's so much in that,
I think actions are pretty much put it out there too. Like if those are the questions that you've gotten and you feel like, you're on the fence about it, that means that man did not give you everything he possibly could to get you to understand, like, hey, I'm really single. Or, hey, I'm not living with anybody. Or, hey, I have children, because some people mask that or hide that for whatever reason. People should be proud of that fact, but, those are the little obstacles that I feel like women kind of go through that, what, in all honesty, it sucks because you're not getting the best of what a guy possibly has because, and now that, I completely understand, women will fall back and they have reasons to be like that. But also on the flip side, if we give some women too much, the age-old thing saying, you know what, you're too good to be true. I don't know how many times I've heard that in my lifetime before, but that's just, being me. So my question to you is, where's that thin line when it comes to, just that self, awareness when it comes to relationship? When should I pull back or when should I dive in? Because a lot of people say, hey, you know what, I'm going to put a timetable on certain things. And I'm not just talking, dates or sexual or anything like that. I'm going to give you more after 3 months. And then maybe I can figure it out then. Is there an actual timeline, or is it just something that you just feel would naturally happen?
I will be honest, I don't know. I can't tell you. What I hope is, okay, because when I tell you I have had the craziest experiences ever, I hope that it's out that I'll know. You know what I'm saying? But what I believe is it'll be the conversations. It'll be how he treats me. It'll be, a respect that's there and a consideration that's there that'll let me say, mentally, okay, let's move to the next step, like open up a little bit more to him. It's the sharing of, who you are and letting me hang out with you. Let's go somewhere. It doesn't just have to be a date like get dressed up, go to the movies. Let's just hang out like you would a friend. I want a friendship piece. And if a guy can be a friend with me, and I know that his intentions are for more than that, because I want to know that, or either you get put in the friend zone. So I would like to know that what your intentions are up front, and then let's get to know each other. So I think that would help me to move along and know, just mentally that, okay, this may be something to pay attention to. Let me open up a little more and pay attention to what he's doing.
I think mental notes every guy should be able to take, because I just feel like when it comes down to it, I think the best gift that a guy can give a woman is just to pay attention. I'm talking about just that's like the core value, but there's other gifts, gold, diamonds, houses, cars, all that stuff, right? Like, no, I'm
We
just
don't
kidding,
turn
but
that down.
you know what I
That's
mean,
right.
though. Vanessa Works is my guest on Nexxlegacy Radio. You can hit her website up at vanessaworks.com. Also follow her on Twitter at Vanessa Works. And from one author to another, let me put in my co-host, Mr. Young Army, in the house, Nexxlegacy Radio. Army, what's up, sir?
Hello, Miss Vanessa Works brand. What's up?
Hey.
Here, vibing to the whole interview, and I have a couple questions to ask pertaining to the, like your writing process, because I'm a writer myself and I take the craft very serious. I feel like I was put on this earth to write. I want to be a writer and author and the whole nine. And when you said earlier, certain writers who sit on manuscripts, I felt like you was pointing me out because I'm sitting on a few manuscripts. You know what I mean? So the first question I want to ask is, how do you deal with writer's block? Because right now that's what I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with writer's block. I'm sitting on a few manuscripts that I know needs to be desperately revised and edited and things like that, because I'm the type of writer that I don't want to write a new story until my previous works is nicely reviewed and revised, because that's something that I learned about writing is you can never have enough revisions, especially with something that you taking serious as far as a book. So the first question is, how do you deal with writer's block? And the second is, how do you get over that hump of being a self-publisher or getting your own works published? Because I went through that phase too of realizing that I can't count on publishing companies and I might have to do this thing independently. But it's a bit of doubt there, it's a bit of fear there sometimes, and it's that hill you got to go over. So, yeah, those are the two questions I have.
Okay, so with the writer's block, what I found is, for myself, the times that I actually had writer's block is when I felt overwhelmed with the story. Like, I wasn't quite sure the direction I wanted to go at that point, or I was just overwhelmed because I did know. But, that it's a journey to get a story out of you, because you can know what you want to write, you can know what you want to say, but when you put pen to paper, I'm preaching to the choir, it's a different process, because you got to put the word, what you're thinking, but you have to make sure your reader will know exactly what you meant. And then when dialogue comes into play, you have to be in the voice of your character, so you have to know your characters intimately. So for writer's block, what I did was I just wrote. I pushed through regardless. So it didn't matter how it came out. I just made myself write. I made myself write, and even if, like, let's just say I started on a chapter and I started writing and I got writer's block, whatever came out, I wrote it down and I moved on to the next chapter. And then sometimes that would allow me to go back and build on that previous work that I just couldn't get past it. But what I found is that when I stopped and put it down, a day would turn into a week into 2 weeks, and I wasn't productive. So I cut that out. Yeah, I stopped with the whole not writing, because I even went maybe 3 months one time because I felt like I had writer's block. So I think it's best to just push through and write what you can.
Yeah,
and for,
that's true.
And I don't agree with the whole just write something every day about anything random. If I'm working on a story, I just focus on that story and just move on to another part of the story and then go backwards. And then as far as the publishing piece, so I talked with an independent publishing company. I sat down and did a consultation to find out what I needed to do in case I had to take the independent route. And then I got a couple of books on self-publishing, and I found that I could do it all myself with a lot of work, that I could do it myself. And then, have you heard of Lightning Source?
No.
Okay, so it's Ingram Distribution. They are like a major, or probably one of the top 2 or 3 distribution companies in the U.S., and so they have an option to partner with them even as a self-publisher. And so I created a publishing company, and I published through my company, and then distribution comes from Ingram, which is under Lightning Source, and they distribute to Barnes & Noble online and Amazon and a few other places, other platforms. So it's not really that hard, but it's a lot of work, and it's well worth it, because you can have your manuscript, as you know, for years waiting and sending in query letters and sending in parts of your manuscript hoping that an agent will say, oh, this is good, I want to know more. I don't know if that'll ever happen. I actually did that with this book, Lies, and I haven't heard anything yet from the agent, and so I decided I'm not waiting. I sent the agent a query letter back in August or September of last year. I haven't heard anything, so when I finished the story, I just moved out on my own with the publishing company that I set up about 7 years ago. And, you know, now I'm published. So, and that's the goal, and that's also another driver for the writer's block. If you know you have a story that somebody needs to hear, use that as your motivation to press through the writer's block also.
Right. Yeah, thanks for that, because, you know, like, I definitely feel you when you say as far as writer's block, you know what I mean? Like, it could last for a long time, because right now I feel like I got a child out there that I haven't seen in years, and I feel bad about it. You know what I mean? So I need to stop that and get back to what I love and get back to what I'm good at, because you know, I read a bunch of books all the time, and I love to write stories and write poetry and do spoken word, and, you know, that's just my whole field right there. And I've been for so long, I feel like I'm missing a part of myself. So I just need to get back in tune with it, because as soon as I get back in tune with it, then, you know, the whole world is blocked out from there for me. You know?
Right.
So I appreciate your words.
Vanessa Wirtz is our guest on Nexxlegacy Radio. Make sure you hit up the website, vanessawirtz.com. You can also check her out on Twitter at Vanessa Wirtz, Facebook.com/Vanessa Wirtz as well. And when you hear this young man talk about his passion for writing, and, you know, and it's prevalent to how society is nowadays, and you got a lot of young people out there who's really eager to put something out. And the steps that you gave, not just him, but the listeners out there, you know, kind of makes me feel good about the fact that, hey, you know what, there is people trying to be creative and try to do different things. And when you look at society and how we read now, because I know we have a lot of e-books and, you know, things like that. Libraries are becoming dinosaurs, which personally I don't think it should, but, you know, it's there, it's out there, it's a fact. So when you get young people like that, and you get others out there that's listening that really has a passion for creativity and writing, how does that make you feel from someone that's did the hard work and the grind to be able to get that out there?
I think it's so exciting. I think it's so exciting because you know when you have something in you that you want to get out, and you just have to press. It's like the title of the book, Lies, is about not believing the lies that people tell you. You know, if somebody says, you'll never do that, you can't do that because you're not this, and that, you don't have this degree, or you don't have this training, you won't be able to do it. I love to see people overcome that, and that, you know, people saying what you cannot do. Tell yourself the truth. If it's in you, you can do it. You just have to be willing to grind it out and put in the work and push past the times where you really don't even want to write. You love writing, but it's just like it's too overwhelming to do. I can't find the time. You make the time, and I love the creativity that I see come out of people. I'm an artsy type person and creative, so I love to see people creative, especially young people. They have so much to say, and it's always so on point. So as far as what's going on in the world today, so I love that.
What do you want the viewers or the listeners actually to I guess take from the book that you have right now, Lies, Even Love has its casualties, because, what I've taken from it is, and again, I'm really kind of like stepping on different like boundaries, because I don't want to reveal too much in the book. I encourage people to go get it, and actually I just Amazon searched it. I'm gonna put the link on websites. It's we're gonna try to do it up really big for people that's really into wanting to not just have a story be told, but just the creative side of it. So when people get it, what do you want your listeners to really uncover when it comes to just the efforts that you made to put this book out?
What I want the listeners to uncover is basically what I put in the dedication, which is I dedicated this book to everyone who needs forgiveness. And the love, grace, and mercies of God are deep. It runs deep. So the message and the theme of this book is love and forgiveness. So that's what I really want people to get when they turn that last page. If they feel like they need forgiveness from someone, that they will just rest assured that they're forgiven. And if they need to forgive someone, even if they don't reach out to the person, to just let it go. And that whole love piece, to really understand, well, I'm a Christian, so I believe love is what the Bible says love is in 1 Corinthians chapter 13. And so just really providing that definition and demonstration of what love does, what it looks like, and that it's not all about emotions and, just being crazy about something or somebody, but love is enduring, it's strong, it's powerful. It'll hang in there through the thick and the thin, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So, and then just loving yourself and telling yourself the truth, even if all you've believed all your life is what somebody else has said about you or the things that have happened to you. Tell yourself the truth. You are a good mother. You are a good woman. You are a good man. Whatever lies you believed in your life that you don't even agree with, but you act out because that's what people say or what people think about you. Tell yourself the truth and just forgive, love, and move forward fresh, encouraged, and validated.
Amen to that. Amen to that. And a couple more quick questions with the beautiful Vanessa Works on Nexxlegacy Radio. And what's next? I mean, I know the book, and I know you're doing a lot of book signings and things like that. And I'm hoping you can come out to the Bay Area. I'm just saying, I can. Talk to some libraries, some Barnes and Nobles. We still got those. There's still bookstores out there available. So, what's in addition to book signing? What's next for Vanessa?
What's next is this is something that I would really love to do. As a result of this book, I would like to actually bring together men and women, single men and women, and let's have a discussion. So that's something I'm really going to be thinking about and trying to figure out how I can work that out on a big stage. Not what you did to me, what you said to me, but really how do you feel when I say this? Women to men and men, how it makes them feel when there's things that we do. I want that real conversation and see if at least we can just come to a place of feeling each other and having that compassion for one another. And maybe we move forward in a different way. I don't know. So that is the biggest thing that I see, the vision that I see as a result of this book that I would love to see manifest. And then also the novel, the next novel, because I want to tell Savon's story. I want to tell why he is the way he is without telling the listeners too much who haven't read the book. I want to follow this story up from his perspective, and I'll have to talk to more men to get that, but I want to do that. So that's
and you know what?
Probably year
the first thing you said as far as getting single guys and girls together, I think you've kind of already started that because you've developed a lot of conversation, not just between you, me, and Young Army here, but also the listeners is out there completely just engrossed in conversating about, I need to go pick the book up live online right now, not just through multiple chat rooms, but, the conversation has already started. That push-pull and meet in the middle when it comes to relationships, truth, and, monogamy. And you know what, Vanessa, I think we need to have this dialogue because to me, with the divorce rate being super high now, I think it's important to be able to have dialogue like this. Find out what the other person wants, needs, what their hang-ups are. Because if anybody out there can tell me that they are hang-up free, they're kidding themselves. Because I think everybody has, a handful of fears that they really want to, defeat when it comes to relationships, either if you're in one or you're getting into one or you want to get into one. Because I just feel like at the day's over, I think, we all need that in order for us to be able to grow, move past, and just, heal together and just work on each other and build that better bridge for all of us across.
Oh, that's so great. That is so true. That heal together, because I don't believe that the men I've dated meant to hurt me, intended to, or set out to do that. And I don't think, we get charged, women, with nagging and that mouth thing. I don't even want to do all of that. But I don't want to, but they pull it out of me, right? So, we need to let all of that stuff go. We need to get to a better place because we all want to be loved. That's it. We want to get to love and what that really means and how to support each other and look out for each other. And I think it's possible.
It is when you have people like yourself that's all in for change. I think it's the more people who shut down, we're going to have that opportunity where more people are going to open up. It's going to get to that point where it's going to get, to me, in my opinion, a lot better than worse. Because I just have to believe it's going to get, the communication line's got to get better than where it is now. That's not wishful thinking. I just feel like it's just really time because right now there's a lot of frustrated people who's looking for that much needed communication. So, this is the start of something beautiful. So that's a good thing.
Oh, that's so great. This has been really good. I'm so glad for the listeners. I'm glad that it's sparking conversation. And I'm hoping that it's really positive because sometimes you can have these discussions and it's the blame game. So that's totally not what I want to, I don't want to portray that. I don't want people to think that. And I even hope when you read the book, you didn't feel that I was male bashing. I kind of thought
not
about that. I said that's not the intent at all. Okay.
Not at all. You know why, Vanessa? Because I looked at it as, the moves that was made, and to me, not diving into too much of the book, but when you have a guy in a situation like the situation he was in, he's dealing with a fiance, so automatically, I'm thinking, damn, if I was a fiance to the woman that I want to spend the rest of my life with, this woman would not get the time of day like the time of day that was given. You know what I mean? And to me, it would be like literally a one-page book. Like, that's it. Have a nice day. Like if I was that guy, you know what I mean? But but you didn't bash men at all. And actually, the perspective you gave with his character is not shocking to me because there is a lot of people like him who devalues the concept of what a monogamous relationship was about. So to me, it's not an eye-opener. It's more like, hey, you know what? I've seen this, but how can we get better? So it's going to be interesting to see his perspective in the next book based on the curiosity that you set him up for in this book. So it's beautiful. And I'm telling y'all need to go get the book. I'm just saying, go get it. It's a good read. It is a very good read.
Thank you so much for that plug. I'm so excited that it's being well received by men and women both. Very excited about that.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. And keep that smile on your face like you got right now because it's glowing right now all through the radio waves right now. So keep that going. It's a beautiful thing. So in closing, I want to not just thank you for hanging out with us for as long as you have tonight, but just know that we're going to be here to celebrate this continuously. So the people out there that, everybody is, I'm heavy into literacy. I got a ton of books at home. So even though I got the e-books one, I'm trying to get the paperback. So I'm definitely online to go grab that. It's only $9.99, people. It's ready. It's ready for y'all to get it. So it's it's a good look. And Vanessa, I'm proud of you. So keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Any parting words you want to say to the listeners out there, as far as, you know, because I know you're active on social media, and I appreciate you adding me on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all that good stuff. So anything you want to say to the listeners while they listen?
Yes, I would like to say, and this is a quote that's on the back of the book, and it says, sometimes getting hurt can be the very thing that opens the heart to love. So for all those women and men out there who are hurting right now because of a relationship that's just really made you feel devalued, just know that your heart is open right now, even open to receive love. And I'm talking about the love of God. So I'm just saying, be encouraged. Be encouraged. Know that you are exactly who He created you to be. You don't have to change who you are for anybody. You're enough for anybody. And if they don't see that value in you, then they're just not the one for you. Release them, forgive them, bless them, and move on. Amen.
Hey, amen. Amen. What a way to drop the mic on that one, Armin. You want to say goodbye before we let Vanessa go? She didn't say it all right there. Like that. Hey, what else do we do? Thanks for coming, everybody. Thanks for coming. Beautiful. Go ahead, Armin.
You know, my last departing words will be thank you for coming to Nexxlegacy. Hopefully you won't be a stranger. And I definitely enjoyed the conversation. I learned a lot. And I love when writers like you get the shine they need and get self-published, because that inspires me a great deal, more than you will possibly know, in my own growing stages as a writer. So I definitely take heed, and I'm going to check out your work, and I look forward to any future endeavors you have. So I definitely appreciate your time, and hopefully you come back. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Book signing. Come to California, Vanessa. Come on, sweetheart. We got books. We have bookstores. Let's go. Let's do it.
I'll do it. You get me some contact information for a bookstore, I'm on my way.
Hey, there you go. There you go. All the people out there that's checking. And I'm not just California, everywhere else too. Like, you know, I'm being a little selfish because California is where I reside, but I'm just saying in general, like everybody else that is looking for this young lady to be in your stores and to be able to talk about this book and, you know, do it big like she deserves. So, you know, anybody that want to do that, definitely hit up her website, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. Everything is Vanessa Works. So, hey, blessings to you, sweetheart. Proud of you for this book accomplishments and your many, many other accomplishments, and definitely don't be a stranger to the station.
Thank you so much, and I won't be, Brandon. I really appreciate you having me on. It's been a great pleasure.
That's what's up. I appreciate it. Keep smiling, sweetheart. Keep smiling.
Will do.
All right. Blessings to you,
now.
sweetheart. You do the same.
Okay.
There's beautiful
Blessings.
Vanessa D. Works right here on Nexxlegacy Radio. More music.
Thank you for listening to the #1 radio station for the people.